the question is immensely important because the whole future of humanity depends on few factors. One is homosexuality. First, I would like to explain to you why I call it perversion. And once you understand it, things will be simpler. There is no biological program in you for homosexuality. The biological program in your sperm is heterosexual. So I am simply stating a fact. That homosexuality has arisen under ugly pressures in the monasteries of all the religions, where it is forced in the name of the purity of celibacy, and in the schools, colleges and universities, where boys and girls are kept separate, and teachers and professors function as guards so that no heterosexual relationship happens. Men and women become sexually mature at the age 13 or 14. The natural thing would be to allow them the expression of their new area of exploration. Of course, all precautions can be taken so that small boys and girls don't get into any trouble, particularly the girls, that they should not become pregnant at such an early age. In the past, there was no way. But we are in a better position. According to me, the pill is the greatest revolution that has happened in the history. And now even better pills are available. The first pill was not 100% proof. You have to take it continuously, and if you miss one day and by chance you meet your lover, the human tendency is to think that it does not happen every time that one gets pregnant. Why it should happen at this time? Take the chance. What if hundreds and thousands and millions of people are taking chances, then few pregnancies are bound to happen. The society managed forcibly to keep the two sexes apart. And I wondered myself when I came to know that at the age between 16 and 18, the sexual energy as it happens is at the peak. It will never be the same power again. And we have arranged marriages after the boys and girls return from the universities, 24, 25, 26. Their peak point of energy is already past 6 or 8 years back. They are on the decline. Because of this decline, and I suspect that religions wanted this decline to happen, because with this declining force you cannot have orgasmic experience. Orgasmic experience is a flood. And you are so flooded that you disappear. And I respect the orgasmic experience because my understanding is all meditations have arisen out of it. All spirituality has arisen out of it. Because it has given a taste of the beyond. Preventing young people up to 25 or 26, first, they will never experience orgasm. Second, they will never think that there is any possibility of a higher consciousness, of a more beautiful space within themselves, that they are not what they look in the mirror. They are much more. In an orgasmic experience, they become almost one with the whole. It is the first glimpse a window opens, and they start searching ways how to widen the window, how to fly in this open sky. Nobody has worked it out that how man found meditation. How he started thinking of an spiritual experience of ecstasy. To me, it is very simple. Once the boys and girls have orgasmic experience, they have already tasted the spiritual, the divine, the sacred. Now in their whole life nothing is going to be of that height. And secondly, in an orgasmic experience one comes to know that thought stops, time stops, you come to a standstill, no movement. And those who were wise enough, they tried it other way, how to get rid of thought, time and movement and become absolutely still. And they were surprised that it works both the ways. You attain to the same orgasmic experience. But when the orgasmic experience is sexual, you are dependent on the other person. And when the orgasmic experience comes out of meditation, you attain a tremendous dignity as an individual, independence. Religions did not want this orgasmic experience to happen to people. And to prevent it, they created the idea of celibacy. It is ugly and very cunning, but priests are cunning. Their whole concern was their own business. If people start experiencing individually the spiritual and the sacred, then the Brahman priest is no more needed. Neither the rabbi is needed, nor the Catholic priest is needed. They have come in direct contact with the universe in such an intimate way that there is no need of any mediator. To destroy this possibility, there were two ways. In the past, they used early marriage. 7 year, 8 year. Now a 7-year boy is not sexually mature, neither the girl is. But because they are married, slowly they are being taught by their relatives and friends, and they start playing. Sex becomes just a play to them. And at the most, just a method to produce children. They don't have any time to experience what could have turned them into spiritual direction. This has been followed for centuries. They are too much burdened too early. And the birth of children does not depend on orgasmic experience. So sex has to be understood in two ways. On the one hand, it reproduces the species, which is a biological phenomenon. On the other hand, it creates an energy experience which no religion, no politician would like people to have, because that will create the greatest revolution in the world. People will have a direct contact with existence. No holy scripture, no priest, no mediators. And these are the people who have been the parasites of humanity. But the times change. Education came into the world. Students had to leave the home and live in hostels, boys with boys, girls with girls. That also contributed to the perversion. I am not condemning it. I am simply telling you how it happens. And when I say perversion, I don't mean any condemnation. I simply mean going away from the natural course of things. And if a boy from 14 to 25, that is a long period, becomes homosexual, then that becomes a deep-rooted habit in him. So even when he is married, his interest is not in women. Religions don't want men to be interested in women, nor they want women to be interested in men. And they have made a very detailed strategy, slowly, thousands of years. In the present, monasteries create homosexuals, universities create homosexuals, armies create homosexuals. Wherever one sex gathers, sooner or later they start finding ways how to release each other. The first thing to remember, that I will continue to call it perversion because it is perversion. It is against nature. Nature never produces anything which is useless. Homosexuality is useless. It does not generate anything in you. Neither it can produce children, nor it can give you an orgasmic experience. Have you ever heard homosexuals having orgasmic experience? All they have is a sexual release. The energy accumulates and becomes a tension. It needs some release. Homosexuals know only generation, they don't know what they are missing. The orgasm. So sexual energy runs parallel in two ways. On one hand, it produces children. On other hand, it can produce in you a new being. Homosexuality destroys both. And do you want me to call it a natural thing? It is destructive. It is perversion. I can understand it may be hurting you, but if you have cancer and the doctor says to you it is cancer, it hurts, but it has to be said. There is no way to operate upon you to remove the cancer. And homosexuality became far more dangerous than cancer. Nobody was intentionally moving in that direction, but that's how things happen in the unknown, in the darkness. Homosexuals, because they were perverted, created the disease AIDS. Heterosexuality creates life. Life for your children and a divine life for you. Homosexuality is absolutely barren. It does not create anything. Slowly as it spread, perhaps it has been happening and we were not aware. The awareness came just within 5 years when doctors felt that the homosexuals lose their resistance against any infection and their life span is not more than 6 months to 2 years. I was the first in the whole world to make people aware of it. Governments were hiding it. Doctors were not wanted to talk about it. Scientists were not revealing it to the people. They had their reasons. It looks ugly if the nation has to declare that it has thousands of homosexuals. It is not a glory. It simply means so many people have gone perverted. And because of the AIDS, the danger became more. To accept that 1 million people are suffering from AIDS in one country, the problem is what the politicians are going to do about it. Nothing can be done about it. There is no possibility, according to the scientists, to cure it. It is just like death, slow death. You cannot cure death. slow or fast, and it looks ugly for nations to recognize. Many nations have not even bothered to have a census how many people are sexual, because they are potential patients for AIDS. Doctors are afraid to tell anybody that you have AIDS, because then they will have to be admitted into the hospital, and the disease is such as man has never known. Any thing coming out of the body, perspiration, can infect you. You shake hands with a man who has AIDS and his hand is perspiring, you can get it. Kissing is now absolutely to be prohibited, because through your saliva, the best way for the virus to exchange from one mouth to another mouth. It is very strange that only one primitive tribe of Eskimos have never kissed. And when for the first time Christian missionaries reached Siberia to transform them to Christianity, the Eskimos could not contain themselves laughing when they saw them kissing each other. Such a dirty habit, because saliva carries all kinds of virus, all kinds of diseases, particularly it is not anything like the poets have been praising it. It is certainly a dirty habit. Eskimos also express their love, but love should be expressed in a more cleaner way. They rub their noses with each other. Noses are very clean and cool, unless they are running. Those periods are avoided. Eskimos never kiss noses if the noses are running. Sexual contact is bound to give the AIDS to the partner who had not it. Mother's milk can give AIDS to the children. You will be surprised to know that there are now children born with AIDS. Because the father must have been suffering from AIDS, and the sperm has carried the virus into the mother's womb. small children, and when I condemned it in a world press conference, journalists laughed at me, politicians laughed at me, and they said that I am unnecessarily making a small thing too big, because I said 2/3 of humanity is going to die through AIDS. And I proposed what precautions should be taken. And now almost many civilized countries have adopted the same procedures without, of course, mentioning my name. My name seems to be a dynamite. Even my own people are afraid to utter it. What to say about others? Now the same journalists are reporting in great praise to their governments that they are taking precautions. This could have been taken 3 years before and would have saved millions of people catching the disease. Now, as far as I can see, it is uncontrollable. Because doctors don't want to admit, so they simply give the certificate that you don't have AIDS. Because to admit an AIDS patient is dangerous for the nurses, for the doctors. Coming in contact with such a man, the best way is simply to say that we examined and you are negative. You don't have AIDS. You don't need to worry. They have shifted their responsibility, but they have created a danger for the society. Now this man will move. Here there are few sannyasins, because I have made it an absolute rule that no AIDS positive person should be allowed to enter the gate. If he wants to go anywhere, he should go to Vatican. Vatican is the most responsible for creating AIDS, and the Pope has to be turned not as a representative of God, but as a superintendent of an AIDS hospital. All people suffering from AIDS should move towards Vatican. I have prohibited their entry. They have to bring a certificate that they are negative. But you will not believe how irresponsible man can be. There are many doctors who are selling negative certificates. So you simply give some money. There is no need to be worried. Take the certificate. It seems we will have to make our own lab to test people before we allow them into the campus. Their certificates can be bogus. Just few rupees you give, and in Bombay you get the certificate. And this is happening all around the world. But such irresponsibility has never been seen. They only think of themselves and the money that they are getting. They are not worried what harm this man can do. To his friends, to his family, to his children, to his wife. And people are trying to get negative certificates because they don't want to be condemned by the society, and they don't want their wife and their children and their parents to feel embarrassed that he has got AIDS. Friends will no more be friends. So to protect one's ego, people are trying to hide the fact, and because of the hiding of the fact, it is spreading like wildfire all over the world. And do you want me to not call it perversion because it hurts you? If it hurts you, I am not responsible for your hurt. Your priests who have been teaching celibacy are responsible. But it's strange, governments are making laws against homosexuality, that it is not a crime. Anybody caught as homosexual can be sent to jail. But homosexuality is not the real root. The real root is the idea of celibacy. Celibacy is the real perversion. But not a single man in the whole world has condemned celibacy, because nobody wants all the religions to be against him. But I am at ease, because already the whole world is against me. What more it can do? I say definitively that celibacy should be made one of the most heinous crimes, and the religions who teach it should be banned, and all celibates in the monasteries, the monks of different religions, should be told that get married or find out at least a girlfriend. You have lived with boyfriends long enough. And the people who have AIDS should be segregated. They should have their own small cities where all are suffering from AIDS. The doctors, the nurses, the patients, the scientists. Then there is no danger. You cannot have like double pneumonia, double AIDS. Single is enough. If the humanity functions sanely, then in remote places, AIDS people should be taken care of. They can work, they can earn, but their cities should be closed cities. They cannot move around in the world spreading a fatal disease. And it is out of compassion that I am saying. And if the people who are suffering from AIDS understand the meaning of compassion, they themselves should move out of the crowd, live with the same kind of people who are suffering, make small villages, islands. If you want to save humanity, otherwise, even without nuclear weapons, humanity will be destroyed. And this destruction will be very ugly. If you feel hurt, book a ticket to Rome. Hit hard as you can to the Pope that you are not the representative of God, you are the representative of the homosexuals, particularly the people who have reached to the point where homosexuality has created AIDS. The name of the Vatican should be changed. AIDS camp seems to be perfectly good. And I don't want the Pope to be degraded. He should remain the superintendent of the AIDS camp. But you cannot stop me just because you feel hurt. I am not only concerned with you, I am also concerned with the whole humanity. To avoid hurting a single person and creating a dangerous situation for many, I cannot do that. You say, I have tried to look, to watch, to meditate on it, but still my feelings, my love go naturally after man. It is a very strange perversion. The natural attraction is always for the opposite polarity. Men and women are opposite polarities like negative and positive electricity. If you are attracted only towards men, something is wrong in you. You should go through some groups. You should learn how to love a woman. In fact, it is so ugly even to think that a man is attracted towards a man and not towards a woman. And the women are doing the same because they want to be equal. The women involved in the liberation movement have become lesbians. Their idea is boycott men completely. Lesbianism is old but not very spread. There is a possibility that there may not be any harm in it, because two negatives cannot create anything. Neither a child nor a painting for creation anything, two positives are needed. So perhaps lesbianism may not create a disease like AIDS, but one never knows. Up to now, we were not aware that homosexuality is going to create AIDS. Perhaps it takes a certain time, and for the negative it will take a longer time. It is possible they may create even a more far dangerous disease. But this is sheer insanity. The people who are homosexuals should move and create homosexual communes. The women who are lesbians should move and create lesbian communes. But leave the whole humanity. Why torture them? Why destroy them? You don't have the right. You are completely free to do what you want to do, but don't interfere into anybody's life. I have every condemnation when someone interferes into others' life. And you are asking me, since being with a man I like and trust, I have felt silence and happiness. That's good. Just go to a homosexual gay commune, feel happy and feel silence. I have felt the difficulty to accept myself totally joyfully. Why you should not accept? If you sow the seeds, you should accept accept the flowers too. If you accept homosexuality joyfully and you feel happy with men and you trust men and like them, then there is no need to feel any guilt. You have chosen to die within 2 years. It is your choice. Make as much happiness as you can within 2 years. But you are not feeling totally joyful. Feel totally condemned. I am preaching totality. It does not mean what is total. Feel totally condemned. Feel totally corrupted. Feel totally perverted. And rejoice with all perverts and you ask me, how can I live these moments without feeling perverted? There is no need. You are perverted. Why should you live these moments without feeling perverted? Live these moments fully knowing that you are perverted. Just as somebody is man, somebody is woman, somebody is a bird, somebody is a tree, you are a pervert. What is the difference, you are asking, between being totally accepted by you and not being condemned? I do everything totally. I accept you totally in your natural flowering, and I condemn you totally in your perversion, and for me there is no problem. I am always total. My yes is total, my no is total. But if you have chosen the no, then I will condemn you totally. You cannot question my totality. But the simple thing is, and homosexuals around the world are not doing it. In Texas, they created a law against homosexuality, that they can be jailed for years. 1 million homosexuals protested around the parliament. I don't think that homosexuality should be punished by jail. Homosexuals should be given different localities. They can live in their own world, in their own way, be happy. But they should not be allowed to move in the wider society, spreading all kinds of dangerous virus. But nobody seems to take to
do something about it. There are deserts, there are islands uninhibited. Just give them to homosexuals. Divide the world into heterosexual and homosexual. And there should be no communication. Or you change yourself. I know changing is difficult. Once you have become accustomed of a certain sexual behavior, it becomes very difficult to change the behavior. 10, 12 years are enough to make it your second nature. Unless you are courageous enough and can discipline yourself and drop, that is perversion, and be natural. It is possible, but you will need guts for it. Barbara,
I am not only answering you, I am answering all the homosexuals of the world. It is their duty to declare that they are homosexuals. It is their duty that they want their own communes. It is the duty of the lesbian women that they want their own commune. And then there is perfectly okay. You leave the world at peace. Otherwise, my prediction that 2/3 of humanity will die out of AIDS is coming closer. In poor countries, we don't even have any idea how many people are homosexual. How many people are suffering from AIDS? The government is not interested in your life. So almost all the poor countries have no data. Only the very rich countries have become aware of the fact now, and they are collecting data. But that data should be at least multiplied by 5, because it is very difficult to find someone saying that I am gay. Now the very word has become condemned. Homosexuals are going underground. They had their restaurants, their clubs, they have changed their names. The whole process is going. And the people who create law, most of them are homosexuals. It is a very difficult situation. Teachers, professors, principals are mostly homosexual because they have approached to beautiful boy and the people of power, whether they may be priests or politicians, have power and they can manage very easily. But they don't know that they are risking the whole life of this planet. If there is a choice to commit suicide, I would like people are given poison rather than an ugly disease like AIDS. If we decide to destroy the planet, then destroy it, but destroy it peacefully, as beautifully as possible. Not with ugly diseases and everybody feeling guilty. And I know you are only a victim. You should not feel guilty. You should feel revengeful. Guilt is inverted revenge. Make it change into authentic revenge. Who are the people who have created this situation? And these people should be punished. If government does not punish them, then you make committees and punish them. If 1 million homosexuals are there just in a small Texas, how many million people are around the world? These million people should make their own committees and punish the priests and the people who have been teaching celibacy. They have perverted you. You need not feel guilty. You need to feel totally revengeful. Because it is not only your question, the whole life on this planet is reaching from many directions to an end. We can prevent politicians from using nuclear weapons, but what to do with AIDS? And people are, even though intelligent, behave very unintelligently. One of my sannyasins and therapists Vires allows people suffering from AIDS into his groups. Just now I have been told that he tells people that Bhagwan teaches compassion. So you be all compassionate to this fellow, hug him, kiss him, love him. Now this is a great interpretation of compassion. He should have told to the man who is suffering from AIDS that Bhagwan teaches compassion. Now it is your compassion not to touch people. Tell them that you are suffering from AIDS and you don't want to spread it. Rather than telling him, he is telling other group participants to hug him, and they are hugging him. And that fellow will create the whole group of AIDS. And because he is respected there, naturally he will feel very good. Here we will be creating an institute to check your report whether it is authentic or not. I want my people to be saved not only from nuclear weapons but also from inner causes that can destroy the whole humanity. Jaime Goldberg is telling Moise Finkelstein about the new town brothel. It is fantastic, says Jaime. You can screw all night, and when you leave, they give you breakfast and $20. Have you actually tried it? Asked Moise. No, admits Jaime, but Becky has. A liar has been trying for months to get Mendel Kravitz to pay a bill, but all his letters and telegrams are disregarded. Finally, in desperation, he sends Mendel a tear-jerking letter with a photograph of his little daughter. The liar writes under the photo, "Here is the reason I must have the money you owe me." Mendel replies by sending a photograph of a beautiful redhead in a bathing suit. The caption on this picture says, "Here is the reason I can't pay." Mendel Kravitz is trying to make out with his secretary. He wines her and dines her, and when he gets her back to his apartment, he whispers sweet promises in her ear. If we get it together, murmurs Mendel, a fur coat or perhaps a trip to Europe. The secretary takes him by the hand into the bedroom, and they are soon in bed together. Later, while dressing, she asks him when she will get the fur coat he promised. What fur coat? Asked Mendel. You promised me a fur coat? Insists the girl. When I am horny, I will promise anything, says Mendel, and putting one hand over his heart and the other over his prick, he says, when he is soft, he is hard. When he is hard, he is soft.
Yes, Baba.